The New Hampshire Community Loan Fund was one of the first of the offspring of ICE, and there was a lot of energy around it.
Well, we were tiny. We were minuscule. We would not have accounted for even a rounding error on any moderate-sized banks.
There was a kind of a big bond between the people there, because we came from a lot of different places, different backgrounds, different skills, but everybody had this sense that there was injustice happening that related to the economy and related to money, and that maybe by having capital available in a different way that we could have different results for better justice.
So I think that having a peer group to talk about very sort of practical things was important. I think many of us had a real sense that we were doing something different. We weren't just a bank, we were just a lender, we weren't just giving money away. We really were being an intermediary, and that was a new thing, and trying to understand how to be a mission-driven intermediary. Again, holding firm to both the mission, but also to understand what it meant practically.
The thing that distinguished the beginning of I think what we now call the CDFI movement was the idea that we needed multiple investors. This wasn't just a government program, this was multiple investors. It should include individuals, it should include churches, it should include educational institutions. Anyone who is managing money, anyone who had money, should have an opportunity to invest in the community.
That sense of wanting to promote peace and justice, I think, was very important in terms of values in the beginning. And money plays a role in all of that. So how do we change how money is used in our economy? And to me, that's what the loan funds are all about. It's about using money for the good of many, not for the good of a few. It's about using money so that it will build communities of people.
So this was not a charitable endeavor as such. This was trying to demonstrate real investment opportunity and the ability of people, of this to be an accountable investment relationship. I think that was a really important part. This was people working together collectively on economic justice.
Even though we had the same sense of justice, we had different perceptions of risk. And that is kind of at the heart of the problem in the economy, that there's different perceptions of risk, and some people don't look risk-worthy in a way that other people might feel that they are. And so that was one of the big things that we looked at. How are we going to make loans to people that the government or the banks did not think were risk-worthy, and yet we wanted to help them do things that they hadn't been qualified or credit-worthy to do.
No one lends money to someone unless they believe in their future. And generally, the people we're working with, no one's ever believed in their future before.
But it was just a necessary part of the job. If we were going to lend money and get our money back, we had to figure out what was the best way to do it. And what we found out, is that we really had to have close relationships with people. If we didn't have that, we would lose our money.
It's just that, we were filled with the passion of doing something that would do better than the banks in loaning to low-income communities, but we didn't have any of us have an extensive track record. We weren't doing badly. We did not have a lot of losses. We seemed plausible. We seemed feasible, but that's about it. We had a long way to go to demonstrate that we could to any degree become a significant player in providing credit to low-income communities.
We were just trying to figure out how to do what we were trying to do in the places that we were trying to do it.
What hasn't changed in 40 years is that the OFN conference is still about organizations saying what they want to learn and formulating their own ideas for workshops and panels and putting it together based on what they know and what they think others ought to learn. And that was the same in the beginning. We were not a bunch of finance people, and we were dealing with money because, as Chuck often said, you're taken seriously once you're dealing with money.
The real legacy, I think, of CDFIs is that we're much closer to the ground of what our borrowers need. We can be nimble and we can shape finance around the needs of those communities.
And I think part of that legacy, and it came from Chuck, and I see it today, that CDFIs now want to be the best lenders, that they are still challenging themselves. They are still asking the hard questions. What can we do differently? What can we do better? That we take nothing for granted in a changing world full of so much injustice.
It's important, no matter how we grow, and even as we try to make things scalable, that we listen on the ground and adapt our strategies and experiment with our strategies and product lines so that they really meet people's needs and are empowering for what they're trying to accomplish, and not to serve the needs of our capital sources, but rather to translate the needs of investors to what's useful to people on the ground.
My advice would be, number one, keep at it, persist. That's basically what I did for 30 years, including a lot of difficult times on it. And keep looking to innovate. Keep looking to innovate.
For anyone working, even if you're just sitting in a CDFI and you're doing the bookkeeping, go with somebody and do a site visit and see the project, meet the people, because it'll make a difference in how you do your work and the satisfaction you get from your work.
There is an enormous opportunity challenge sitting on everybody's plate now called Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund. It's great. It's a wonderful thing. It's great to see CDFIs being able to do this, and it's going to present challenges that we're only beginning to understand to the industry. We need to find new ways of doing business in some ways, new partnerships, new ways of reaching markets, new markets that we need to reach into in order to be able to in order to really be successful at that.
You work for justice, but you also try to be the very best.